Hello, welcome to the 10th graduation class of the Pacific Northwest Film Scoring Program at Seattle Film Institute. It's weird talking to the graduates here, but I know that I'm being broadcast, and so this is actually more of a welcome to all the parents, peers, friends that are attending this graduation. My name is Hummy Man. I'm the director and creator of the program. On behalf of everybody at SFI, I want to welcome you to our graduation. When we started this year, we knew it was going to be an exciting year because it was our 10th year. It turned out to be way more exciting than we thought. These students have gone through thick and thin, to say the least, doing things all virtually where we usually were in classrooms. But this graduation actually is kind of moving back to normality because last year, during the pandemic, we couldn't even gather the graduates in a room together. So it was completely virtual. So this year we're taking advantage of the virtual situation. We have David Shulman, who's the president of the school, is going to be talking from Lummi Island. Wilbur Roger, who's our commencement speaker, is talking from his studio, and we're able to bring people together. And hopefully there's no technical glitches going on the YouTube feed. So I'm not going to say much more right now except to say welcome. We start our graduation every year the same way. We're going to screen about an hour's worth of films that have been scored by the students in this program. A lot of the recordings were done remotely, which meant that music was sent to musicians in their homes or their home studios. They recorded their parts, they got them sent back in, and the students had to actually recreate the sound of what an ensemble would sound like with all these individual tracks. They learned a whole bunch of new skill sets in doing that, and in fact, that is something that we're now going to add into the program in future years, even when the pandemic is done and over with. So the next hour will be spent watching films that the students have created original scores for. They wrote all the music, they orchestrated it themselves. In some cases, where we were fortunate enough to be able to do it, they actually conducted the scores with live ensembles, which is what the students have been doing for the last 2 weeks. They came all together in a residency in Seattle, and we did 4 recording sessions in that period of time. The smallest recording session we did was 3 musicians, and the largest was 52 musicians. So the composers have had an opportunity to get up on the podium and wave their hands around and conduct an orchestra, and I'm sure they all tell you that that was probably one of the most exciting events of their lives. So we're going to start now with doing the screening. Again, it'll be about an hour worth of films, and then I'll be back to talk some more.
Oh, you must be Destiny, right?
Yes, sir, that's me.
Come on in.
Thank you. Wow, you have such a beautiful house.
Oh, thanks. The wife likes everything to be just perfect.
Right.
Speaking of you, there you are. We were just talking about you.
Oh, really? Only good things, I hope.
Oh, I could never say anything bad about you, honey.
You wouldn't. Is this the babysitter?
It is. This is Destiny.
Yes, ma'am. Hi, I'm Destiny.
Nice to meet you, Destiny. I'm sure you'll do a perfect job.
Thank you. I'll do my best.
Well, we'd better get going if we're going to get to the restaurant on time.
Before we go, let me check on Max one last time to make sure everything's perfect.
Sure, of course. Oh, and Destiny, just one more thing. If you can, we'd rather you not go into Max's room tonight. We just got him down for the evening, and there's just really no need for you to go in there at all.
Okay, what should I do if he wakes up?
Oh, he should sleep all through the night. Don't worry about it. Just promise me you won't go in the room.
Yes, sir. I promise.
Great. I just really don't want to worry her tonight. She's been under a lot of stress lately, and I just want everything to be perfect so she can relax. Are we ready?
Yes, we can leave now. Destiny, we should be back around 11, but if you need us for anything, our numbers are on the fridge.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. You guys have fun.
Thanks. We will.
McCarthy is interested in more than just a good. Listen, he's having no trouble.
Could you say it again? He fell in the white. On your screen.
Kissing all of a sudden.
Make sure I live with us.
There's nothing left to do. Everybody stick around because we're going to have some fun and look at this right.
So, if you want to get yourself an aquarium.
It don't need money, 20 does.
A free trip after just 20.
In my jail.
sweetie, I'm coming. Oh my God, are you okay? I'm gonna get you out of here. What happened?
Thank you.
How did you get here?
I can't remember the last time I've seen somebody.
Who are you?
Look, I don't have time to explain. They're watching us.
What? They. Who? Who's watching?
I can't explain things to you right now. All I know is that there's a note in that bathroom for some girl to read. And if you don't, they're gonna kill us.
What note? What note?
Just hurry up and read it so I can get out of here.
I don't understand. Hello? Let me out! Hello? Mrs. Schultz? Mrs. Schultz? Mrs. Schultz? Okay. I'm back. Mrs. Schultz. Oh my God, I was here. And I came because I heard a noise in here, so I went to come see the baby, but there was this old man and he told me to go to the bathroom and
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be all right. Now that our baby is gone, we'll take good care of you.
Your baby?
Well, yes. Now that our baby is gone, we'll need to have a new one. Isn't that right, honey? Beautifully done. That was beautifully done. Oh, honey, look at our baby. Isn't she adorable?
Hey, my man, you need a ride?
Appreciate it, man.
So where are you headed to, my man?
The airport.
You would have been walking forever.
No. I'm so lucky you came along.
Glad I was going this way.
Name's Ezekiel. You?
Mark, nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
What were you doing walking down the road? You know the airport is miles away, right?
That's a good question. Something just told me, walk. You know?
Yeah. I guess so. So with the guitar, man, you play music or something?
It's my most prized possession. It belonged to my grandfather. He bought it after saving up years as a dishwasher. All he wanted to do was play music. Even met my grandmother at one of his performances.
That's pretty cool. It means it has some history, right?
Yeah, exactly. So what do you do? I mean your occupation.
Occupation. All right, so I got my undergraduate degree in architecture, and then I went and made the brilliant choice of mastering in design engineering.
Wow, that sounds very interesting. Like, how do you like it?
It is, and I love it, I think.
What do you mean?
It means I haven't worked a single day in my profession. You know, I get by, you know, driving taxis and doing food delivery. It's hilarious, right? You know, man, I had this brilliant idea of making buildings, but instead I just drive people to them. I don't know, man. You know, when I think about it, there's nothing I want more than for people to look up and just be amazed. I want to create something that makes people feel something, you know? But then I think about it. I'm just a 25-year-old living in the suburbs of Maryland, no real job, no real connections. I don't know, man. What makes me different from the hundreds of classmates I had in college and different from the other architects in other colleges? We all have the same dream. It's just what makes me special. How can I do something like that?
You're right. You can't. I mean, that's what you're saying, right? That you can't, that you won't. I'll be honest, I just met you, so I don't know what makes you different from other people. I bet you're a lot more similar than you think you are.
Huh?
Those people probably have grander dreams. Dreams of building neighborhoods, cities even. That's all it is, a dream. There are millions of dreamers, all hoping one day their dream is going to be realized. That's not how the world works. The world belongs to people that are awake, active. It's hard to have dreams, hopes, aspirations. Dreams keep us grounded. Only when shown what can be do we realize what we are. And what we are is potential. Think about it. People used to dream of distant lands across the ocean. Only when someone built a boat was that dream realized. I'm sure it was hard to find that first tree. Even harder to carve it. They probably went through hundreds of trees before finding that right shape. But it worked for one reason. Because someone dared to pursue their dream instead of dreaming further. I don't know what makes you special. The fact you allowed us to eat you up inside shows me how much you care. I know you can make this happen. You know your path. All you gotta do is walk it.
Thanks, man. Damn it. Do you mind if I stop to get some gas?
Nah.
Yo, my man, you want anything to drink?
I'm good, brother.
All right, bro.
sorry. Charlotte, right?
Yeah. How do you know me?
We met a few nights ago at a bar. It was on the corner of Irving and McIntyre.
Oh, you're the guy that tried to buy us drinks
And ended up tripping over a waiter and getting thrown out because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was me.
I wanted to talk to you after that, but you left so fast.
Well, you can talk to me now. And this is the camera that I've been using to sort of document my time here. All by myself. Yeah. Would you want to be in a shot with me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Hello, world. Back again with a new friend that I just made. Do you want to say anything?
Do you run?
Do I run?
Yeah.
Not much. Hey. Slow down. Charlotte? Charlotte, does that hurt? That is a deep cut. I'm gonna go find you a first aid kit or something.
No, don't leave.
I'll be
Don't
right
leave,
back.
please.
I'll be right back. I promise. Hey, I got this. Charlotte? 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 Who are... Duke? How are you here? Where have you been?
Oh, just around.
Around. Okay. Oh. You know, the day before everything happened, you said you had a bad feeling. You knew something was wrong, didn't you?
It's always good to have company.
Company? What company? I've basically been alone out here this entire time, and the only company I've had has ended up leaving me anyways.
Leon, my boy, do you remember in our lesson last year in class where we talked about the way we think can affect the realities we experience?
Don't pull that psychologist bullshit with me. Analyzing people all the fucking time.
Our minds have more power than we think. As humans, we must remind ourselves that our minds do not create our reality. We must distinguish fantasy from truth.
Why are you telling me this? What would I do? Another one.
did that jackass? No. No, that was just earlier today. Where did she...
Hello world, back again. I want you to meet the new friend that I just made. We're having a good time. Do you want to say anything? Do I
I cannot be making this up. It was so real. She was so real. You knocked me out and ditched me in the woods. I had no food or water.
Hey man, you need to reassess your entire shitty situation you have going on here.
Are you serious right now? I'm not a fucking idiot.
Leon, I need you to think just a little fucking harder than you have been. I know it's hard, but I need you to try, at least for once.
But you were there. And you and I talked about so much, and your leg, there was blood everywhere, and you...
I'm sorry, Leon. I wish.
It's not your blood. It's mine. Please. You can't be...
Dear Mom and Dad, today I'm 19. It's taken me a while to piece together what happened before I was born.
Reported by the Center of Fungal and Disease Research states that the mortality rate of births occurring over the last 3 years has reached 97%. Given those statistics, it also states that there have only been 240 births reported over the last year, the lowest ever recorded.
Oh! There still is much I don't understand. I only know that this shouldn't have happened. That I shouldn't be here. I wanted you to know that I don't blame you. I'm only now putting together the pieces that fell when you were taken. Fear. I'm afraid sometimes, too.
Haven't seen her in the lab in a while.
Oh, hi, Simon. Yeah, I've just been trying to catch up on some of the new assignments that came in this week.
Uh-huh. Careful, there's been outbreaks.
Yeah.
Apparently some scientists down south have been working on a cure for pneumomycosis.
I heard about that.
Yeah, they caused some outbreaks, and, you know, that's what they get for trying to play God.
evening, Father. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
May he help you to confess your sins.
Amen. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. It's been 1 month since I've been to confessional. My first sin is that I'm still having those selfish thoughts. When my husband was first infected, I was so angry. I didn't understand why he had to be taken from me. I'm still having the selfish thoughts, and I'm afraid that they're affecting my work. I'm afraid that my selfishness is interfering with God's plan. And my second sin is that I'm pregnant.
Do you repent?
I do.
Your child is condemned to an inevitable death from your mistake. Those who follow his plan will see protection from his wrath.
Amen.
I pray the murderous infection will destroy your sin. Give thanks to the Lord, for he means good. Amen.
When I have nowhere left to go, I come to the water. Sometimes I wonder if the water was touched by you. It's the only thing that gives me hope that I'm not alone.
Excuse me? Excuse me? Is that a baby? Is it yours?
Yes.
My name's Aaliyah. I'm pregnant.
I'm Dawn. I don't normally associate with others. Are you infected?
No, I'm healthy. It's been so long since I've seen a baby. Why are you out here?
We live through that forest.
Are there others?
No. The fungus got my partner, then everyone else.
May I ask, how is the baby?
Healthy. He hasn't gotten the fungus yet. It's safer out here.
May I hold him?
His name is Adam.
Adam. Please, let's meet again.
I think about everything you might have touched. Imagine your touch brought life to everyone around, lingering in the water, every grain of sand. I have this hope that someone is reaching out to me the same way.
every spring, all the flowers will be yours to keep. And when it rains, we can dance to the beat it makes. That's all it takes. La 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 love of mine. Love of mine.
What are you doing?
Where's the serum? I'm dying. I haven't seen my family, my wife. Look, we can both die, or you can give me the serum.
I'm trying to believe in God. I wonder if the disease got him too. Thanks to Dawn, I'm still here. She left me with everything, even her child Adam, to support me, until he left. So, today's my birthday. I've never had a birthday party. I just wanted you to know I'm doing okay. How you would have wanted me to be.
Eve?
Are we live?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you can see, we scored all different kinds of films. Hopefully you didn't have any technical glitches during the screening. We had a couple here at the theater, but we got through it. The final film that we just saw, 7 of the students worked on the score. The credits had not been updated in time for us to have the new version of the film. These films come from film schools all over the country. In fact, in the years gone past, we've gotten films from the UK, we've gotten films from Mexico, from China. The program has gotten a lot of notoriety because of the talent of the students who have gone through the program and gone on to do bigger and better things. So now it's my great honor to introduce our commencement speaker, and who's going to give a little address to the students. I have to read his credits because they are so, I don't want to miss anything out. So our speaker is Wilbur Roger, who is a veteran composer in the video game industry. So he does music for video games, which is one of the areas that a lot of our graduates go into. Penning the scores to, and if you're not a gamer, you're not going to be as impressed as some of the people who are the younger people are, Mortal Kombat 11, Call of Duty World War II, Star Wars Vader Immortal, Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris, Star Wars The Old Republic, Guild Wars 2 Path of Fire, Anew The Distant Light, and other indie and AAA titles, AAA being the bigger titles that are put out by video game companies. He also is the co-founder of Impact Soundworks, a highly successful sample development and music software company, and an accomplished lecturer on video game music, having given talks at the Game Developers Conference, ASCAP Expo, PAX and PAX Dev, as well as Yale University, Eastman School of Music, Seattle Film Institute, San Francisco Conservatory, and other institutions. His scores have earned him nearly a dozen awards and nominations from the Game Audio Network Guild, the Academy of Arts and Sciences, DICE Awards, ASCAP Composer's Choice Awards, and others. He currently serves on the board of the directors of the Game Audio Network Guild. So would you please welcome Mr. Wilbur Roger.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, sorry, just give us one quick second here in the theater. I gotta
fire everything back up.
Sure, yeah.
Sorry about that.
No worries. Just let me know if you can hear me okay and if everything's hunky-dory.
As soon as this one's turned on. Brought to you by Panasonic.
What was this?
I just have to turn the projector back on.
Yeah, no problem.
There it is.
Hey.
Cool. So audio is good. Everything working?
Great. Yep, you're doing great.
Fantastic. Well, hey, first and foremost, warmest congratulations to the class of 2021. You've gone through a difficult program under the most exceptionally difficult circumstances, but you've all adapted to it. You came out on top, despite the unthinkable new challenges that the past year and a half have presented. But now the question is, what's next? So if you'll indulge me, I'll explain a bit about my own journey as a video game composer. I graduated college in 2005 with a degree in music from an East Coast school that valued tradition and theory, but intentionally it didn't teach any modern or practical skills. Instead, we learned nothing about synthesis or production, and there weren't any clear inroads to the film or especially the video game industries. I mean, this was back in the dark ages of game scoring, long before there were any university programs for it. In fact, there literally were only 2 books on game scoring that even existed, and not actually that many on film scoring either. So student loan debts piled up, my student loans, my bills just kept piling up, and it became immediately apparent that out of all of my non-musician classmates, many graduating with impressive jobs already lined up, I would be among the very last to have gainful employment. Practically every step of the way, I was told I wouldn't make it in this field, or video game music wasn't a serious career worth pursuing, or that I should fall back on my Ivy League degree to do something more traditional, a real job. And it all seemed impossible, especially with how much of a closed door and ivory tower the industry was back then. But the truth is, every day I woke up thinking about video game music. And every night I went to bed thinking about video game music. I needed it to happen one way or another. And I imagine for each of you, this sounds awfully familiar so far. Well, by this point, I had already joined the Game Audio Network Guild, as well as a few different film scoring forums online. And I was desperately soaking up as much knowledge as I possibly could get while attempting to befriend fellow composers and sound designers. Initially, I focused on learning how to write professional quality orchestral mockups and film quality mixes, taking advice from these forums. And around that time, I also recognized that while my college experience with all of that traditional and historical learning, while it did a great job of teaching me textural writing and 20th century technique, I'd become weaker at writing melodies than I was even back in high school. So every single day, before going to the first of my 2 part-time day jobs, I'd write what I called a shower melody. This was just a few bars of a theme, conceptualized while I was taking a shower and scribbled down while I was eating breakfast. They didn't have to be good, and quite frankly, they never were, but it was great practice for understanding the concepts and strategies for melodic writing. Then at night, after my second job, I'd go to work on whatever unpaid or severely underpaid indie game scores that I'd found online, focusing as much as I could on writing melodically, producing the mockups as realistically as possible, and incorporating some of the modernist composition techniques that I learned in school. One of my collaborators on these early indie gigs was a brilliant tech sound designer named Damien Kastbauer, who later would become one of the most important voices in the worldwide video game audio community. Years before his first AAA gig, he convinced me to go to the Game Developers Conference system, all the way over in San Jose. I lived in Philadelphia at the time. So I'd arm myself with a big bag full of demo CDs and business cards,
and the onus to be extroverted and outgoing for the first time in my entire life. I'm naturally very shy. But I practiced by forcing myself to speak with complete strangers throughout the city for months leading up to the conference, and eventually built up the courage needed and social skills needed in order to make new friends in this intense networking environment. But even though swapping business cards and networking with developers was important, what really mattered was nurturing the friendships that I'd already made, expanding and strengthening our friend group. None of us were big shots with AAA credits, nor really did we have any concrete leads on how to get there. But we were all hungry, we were all passionate, we had a great respect for each other's work, and we enjoyed a genuine friendship. And years later, when Damien got an in-house gig as a tech sound designer at LucasArts, he immediately recommended me for the new music editor position that was opening up. After a lengthy demoing process, I was hired and moved all the way across the country to San Francisco to start a new phase in my journey. Beginning from the bottom of the totem pole with a non-composition job as a music editor and assistant, but being surrounded every day by talented developers. And I never stopped networking either, despite having a full-time in-house cushy gig. In fact, this was the most important time to network, because having that LucasArts name tag and badge meant that I could go to networking events and people would speak to me as a human being, instead of just assuming that I was only there looking for a job. So it was a great time to make new friends, all of them a blessing to my happiness, my knowledge of the field, and in some cases, years and years later, they would eventually hire me as a composer for their games, or they would recommend me to their former collaborators who'd then hire me for their games. Or I would befriend someone on the game team while working on one game who then recommend me to their previous employer, and then they would hire me for their games. And that's how I got to score Lara Croft, the Destiny 2 expansions, Call of Duty, Mortal Kombat, and so on. So I basically have 2 points that I want to make. First, as a composer for films or games or anything in the modern era, there will inevitably be skills that even the best programs can't teach you. Sometimes the technology hasn't even been invented yet. It's up to you to never stop learning and constantly push yourself to develop in your craft. I already mentioned my self-imposed melodic boot camp, but more recently, after constantly losing gigs to some more synth-heavy composers, it became obvious that electronic production and synth sound design were absolutely necessary skills in the modern era. So a few years back, I began feverishly watching tutorials, joining online synth communities, buying a few hardware and software synths, and doing some song transcriptions that focused on recreating the synth sounds. And even I was changing my diet of music that I was listening to recreationally, all just so that I could make the synth world and the electronic sound as much a part of my musical vocabulary as acoustic and orchestral music has been for years. It takes humility to start from scratch like this, but it's absolutely necessary for growth and to stay perpetually fascinated in our field. And nowadays, in 2021, we're incredibly spoiled with just how many resources there are for learning about anything online. But most importantly, I can't stress enough that no matter how much skill you develop, it's your personal relationships that get you jobs. Employers hire their friends, particularly their close friends that they interact with regularly. So even if you're an incredible first impression on a decision maker, you'll be forgotten when the time comes to make a decision. Out of sight, out of mind. So don't take the friendships you've made here for granted. And as you go off and make new industry friendships, surround yourself with talented people that you jive with on a personal level, regardless of their current position or status. Visual artists, editors, producers, writers, game developers of all kinds, they can all be great sources of inspiration, of support, knowledge, and yes, potentially work down the road. I actually wanted to mention a few success stories from the opposite side as well. Shortly after I moved here around 2014, late 2014, I attended my first meetups for the Seattle Composers Alliance, where I met 2014 SFI graduate Brendan Williams. We hit it off at the meetup and exchanged info, but when I checked out his work, I was tremendously impressed by the demo materials that he'd written for this program. And we met up several times over the next year and a half, and we became real life friends rather than just networking acquaintances. At the same time, I befriended ArenaNet's in-house composer, McLean Deemer, who also frequented the Seattle Game Audio meetups. Fast forward about a year, and I found myself being hired for Call of Duty World War II, and simultaneously being asked by McLean to write all of the action and combat music for the expansion Guild Wars 2 Path of Fire. Being suddenly double booked was a good problem to have, but a problem nonetheless, and thankfully the answer was obvious. I hired Brendan to co-write Guild Wars, which worked out so well that I eventually hired him to write some additional music on Call of Duty as well. I also hired 2016 graduate Landon Ashby to help with score prep and supervising the Guild Wars recording session here at Bastyr. And we had another graduate, Wesley Hotzfeld, also 2014, to help us prepare the parts. Later on, I met Stephen Silvers, class of 2017, who I befriended right around the same time that I started to get more into synthesis. And he had a very strong synth background. So we kept in touch after he moved to LA to work with Junkie XL, Tom Holkenborg. And I ended up hiring him for synth sound design on a current project. And later still, I met Benjamin Ash, class of 2019, at a local Game Audio Network Guild event, where I found out that we share a passion for 20th century art music. And so we became close friends here in town, and eventually I hired him as a copyist and Pro Tools operator for a VR film score. So in fact, I'm eternally grateful for Hummy's program because without these graduates, I likely never would have finished any of these gigs on time. So I'll leave you with this. Despite how strenuous this program was and how much of an additional difficulty these past 18 months have been, you've all persevered, and you've completed some of the best training that there is for media scoring. There'll still be surprises and new challenges that none of us foresaw. But with your training, as well as the friendships that you've already made here, you will persevere. So, best of luck, and again, warmest congratulations to the class of 2021.
Wow, Wilbur, thank you so much for that incredible talk. That was amazing. I didn't realize you'd interfaced with so many of our graduates, and I'm glad that they all worked out so well. And it's it gives me hope for all of the graduates of this program. Okay, the next. Oops, sorry, I'm in the dark. The next person we're going to hear from is David Schulman, the president and founder of the Seattle Film Institute, who's going to speak a few words before we actually go through the actual ceremony. So David Schulman, you are up.
I'm David Schulman, president of Seattle Film Institute. First of all, I'd like to thank Will for those tremendous words. So thank you very, very much, Will. And to our degree candidates, this is almost the last time you'll be referred to that way. You are just moments away from receiving the credential, Masters of Music and Film composition that you have worked so hard for. So I want to offer both an institutional and personal congratulations. In short, a big and enormous wow to have completed the work and learning you have done within the context of a pandemic is truly amazing. I do not have to tell you that. You are starting out your careers with a toolbox that is stronger and more sophisticated than any class that has preceded you. So I suppose, you know, the silver lining is that everything that you have learned and adapted to during this period, I believe is just going to serve you so well as you go forth in your careers. So really, without being redundant, given everything that you've gone through and everything you've managed to do within this context, I'd like to say one more time, congratulations. I also want to express my thanks and gratitude to Hummy Man and Sammy Applegate, who took on the practical and administrative side of seeing us through this year with such success. And there are not enough words, let me tell you, there are not enough words of appreciation for the faculty. They really were the ones in the trenches, had to change teaching styles, adapt to all sorts of things that none of us foresaw, and they did it with grace, and whatever frustration or they might have felt, they hit it well. They hit it well. So a real thanks to the faculty. On the administrative side, the SFI team handled issues with intelligence, creativity, and elbow grease that are responsible for all of us being here today. So basically, a big thank you to them. I mean, as you see, it can take a village, and I feel with every bone in my body, it may take a village, and I feel as small as SFI is, that we have Manhattan to get us here today. So without further ado, the moment you have all been waiting for, the conferring of the degrees. So Hummy, back to you.
Now, I want to explain a couple of traditions that we have in the school. First of all, let me start by completely files. I'm going to start by introducing Sam, who's the director of the program, who's going to be helping me give up the meeting. And the program would be so. So 5 years ago, I got my doctorate in music with a focus on film composition, and from the University of Salford in Manchester, England. And when you do your degree, you get your doctorate, instead of hooding you or something like that, they give you these hats. And you walk up to the stage with your hat in your hand, and the chancellor of the university places it on your head. So wearing this hat has become a tradition for all the degrees since it gives me the power to give your degrees. So I forgot to slide the tassels on, but I think it's supposed to be on the right side. So what we're going to do now is we're going to call up each individual. They're going to come to Sandy and receive the degree holder with a special surprise on the inside. And they're going to walk over to me, and I'm going to hood each individual. Our hooding process is quite a bit more casual than if you were getting from a university that had more than one building. So we hope you enjoy this. This has been a tradition from the first year we've given out degrees, and we're proud to continue. So I'm going to hand over the podium to Sandy.
Yay! My turn to shine. All right. First off, I want to say congratulations to everybody. It's been one hell of a year. It's nice to know that you have bodies. It's been a real treat actually seeing things and stuff. This was last week. So head, shoulders, knees, toes, the whole works. It's been great. So I'm going to read your name off. If I horribly butcher it, just know that I'm doing it with love, and so we'll get it started. So first up, Diana Christine Clemens. Patrick Cunningham. Remember your rope. Okay, Wendy Derwalker. Climb over spin there. Congratulations. Ben Fetterman. Eva Kasse Huntelman. I know, be like, I'm with the hood. Thomas Walker Black. Sophie Price. Brooke Ann Ritchie. Oh, Felix Stovall. And another Paul David Wiest. All right, and last but not least, William Zander.
Well,
Yep, and with that, I present to you the class of 2021. Yay. That's it. Yeah.
That's everything.
That's everything. All right, we can go file around outside and get pictures without masks on, so I'll go do that. Thank you for tuning in, everybody at home. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but welcome to Our Year Is Gone.